Have you ever wondered what happens when authentic content turns into scripted drama? From wholesome nursery skits to controversial and unnecessary storylines, what happens is the Nursery Nurse. Let's talk all about it. Welcome to Mother Thinks Best, where I, Liz, discuss all sorts of issues that I find interesting as a scientist, mother, and a content creator. Today's video is about a TikTok creator, Charlotte, who goes under the nickname of the Nursery Nurse. One might wonder, why is a 33-year-old mother of two invested in an immature online drama aimed at impressionable teenagers? Well, that's exactly my problem. It wasn't always that way. And even though I'm old, I'm allowed to have hobbies, and also allowed to mourn them when they're no longer as they were. The Nursery Nurse series was created by Charlotte, who began posting around 2020. And her original content were these humorous, relatable skits about her own experience as a nursery worker. She quickly gained a massive following, and as a parent, I found it very therapeutic, fun, comedic, and relatable. I'll also add that Charlotte is just immensely talented, and her ability to appear as completely different people just by changing her voice and demeanor within one video is unmatched.
Hi, I came as soon as I got your message, so Snooky bumped her head and now she's pale and tired. Yeah, that's right. Snooky, your mum's here.
Skits are one of my favorite social media comedy genres to watch to start with, but these were just top-notch, largely due to how authentically she presented herself. As time went on and Charlotte's fame grew, she eventually entered an arrangement with a company called We Create Popular. It's a management team in the UK who are fairly new to the field themselves, but basically they are known for pushing creators into high engagement, hype-type content, creating sort of bizarre storylines, which within itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Initially, it seemed like the series is going to have some lighthearted romance thrown in every now and again, and honestly, why not? However, the shift wasn't quite as lighthearted as the series fans would have hoped. The narrative got revamped completely into really weird interwoven soap opera style storylines. Notably, this did lead to channel's growth. However, it also led to massive fan backlash and shifting in the fan base as such. Just to give you a bit of perspective, the series started as a very simple setting. So the main character, Charlotte, was a direct reflection of Charlotte, the creator. Then there were a couple of buddies that worked with her in a nursery, and the manager called Marjorie, who was obsessed with dating apps. However, characters started multiplying and the relationships between them started getting increasingly bizarre. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. There was this character introduced called Mia, who was originally portrayed in a completely negative light. There are skits portraying her dismissing a child's injury, refusing a child their asthma medication, and severely bullying a staff member. The character suddenly went through a redemption arc and got a pairing with Charlotte, yes, the main character, just because the new fandom thought it was a great idea. Another character named Autumn, who was originally presented as a Nepo hire at a nursery. So she was everyone's arch nemesis, doing absolutely vile things. Probably at the height of it was an episode where she directly contributed at a staff member having a miscarriage. Yes, a miscarriage. However, then she got her redemption arc also and suddenly became everyone's absolute bestie. The storyline explained it as her directing her anger appropriately, which in actuality often meant that she would literally go and bash the parents of the children at the nursery. And then there were two couples in the storyline who got spicy within the walls of the very same nursery.
Oh yes, right. For anyone getting their knickers in a twist about the imaginary characters doing it in imaginary nursery after all the imaginary children had left, I have to ask, are you keeping this same energy everywhere else? Are you also keeping this same energy with yourselves when you're under the very same roof as your child trying to give them a sibling? Exactly. Some of you are losing your minds over an imaginary four walls and a roof, and to that we gotta say, grow up, you big baby, and stop whinging about it.
Another notable shift that happened when We Create Popular took over the management of the Nursery Nurse were the meet and greet events, which is, yay, awesome, who doesn't love meeting their fan base and who doesn't love meeting their favorite character? Except those were widely considered money grabs. The first one was literally a bunch of cardboard cutouts Then, most recently, there was a Halloween ball, an event to which tickets were exorbitantly expensive. However, the event raised lots of concerns.
Does anyone else feel unsettled about the lack of security at the ball? There were no bag checks, and now Char said herself they were clueless about what was in the suitcase given to her. Luckily it was presents, but what if it was something way more dangerous in a room full of teenagers and kids? I may sound cynical, but it just left a sour taste in my mouth. If there's a suitcase left as a gift for the performer, surely you check it before you give it to them.
Not to mention that we have already established that much of the fan base are literal children. Yet, at the event we have things like this happening. Nothing like a good grind in front of a crowd of teenagers, huh? So many people were unhappy.
Tickets on Instagram, it says to come all elegant and stuff, and it's a ball. We're expecting something, posh or elegant, not even like expensive, just decorated to be like that. Venue, it was really cool, but it's like kind of like underground and like decorated with like graffiti and stuff and really like street vibes. And don't get me wrong, I loved the venue, but it was not the theme whatsoever, and they expected you to come all elegant and stuff. Meanwhile, they literally just packed you down, basically a decorated alleyway. The event was horrifically, it was really badly planned, and there are multiple points to this. There was nothing for crowd control, and just how security dealt with the crowd in general was another really bad aspect. Another really big issue was the fact that there was a schedule that they were meant to follow, and the whole thing it was meant to be over at 9:30. At 9:30 it was meant to be a DJ set so that people could leave. And right, shit, they are half an hour late, and then after that we didn't even get the whole of part 3, and then that's the end of the night, which was really disappointing. It just felt so made for money, and it wasn't made for our enjoyment. And I have a lot of respect for this kind of industry and for the work that she does. Don't get me wrong. But as someone who enjoyed her and kind of just went because I wanted to enjoy myself, it's 129 quid, But for that 129 quid, it was so disappointing. I was disappointed. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. And I'm going to get blocked after this. I'm probably going to get blocked within 5 minutes, but I don't care anymore, and I might not even watch her anymore, whatever.
And what does the brand do about the people who are unhappy or offer their criticisms? You might think they block them, and oh yes they do. Charlotte also loves releasing videos addressing fans' concerns, but she doesn't do it as herself. She does it as her characters, which basically enables her to say incredibly vile things towards anyone who disagrees with the content she puts out. The most notable one, which has since been taken down, involves absolute gems such as:
It would seem this hate train really did summon the cave dwellers from their bedrock. Most likely laying in sheets that haven't been washed in months. Hopefully you'll be out of your beds long enough for your mums to have a chance to change your rotting bed sheets, because I can smell them from here.
Look, as I mentioned already, I am very old, so for me, the term bed rot doesn't necessarily automatically mean mental health stigma connotations. However, even that aside, I do think that this response of a 10-minute video saying horrible things about criticism in character is a little bit bizarre and immature. So this all goes to demonstrate a few things. Firstly, the internet provides an amazing space where you can be really creative and start bringing things to reality, even as just one person with a camera. However, at the same time, when someone rises to fame online, with power comes responsibility, and sometimes desire for bigger audiences, bigger profits, and more recognition can lead to completely destroying your brand identity.
You really need to reevaluate your first world problems, because it's giving chronically online. Next!
And obviously, in a grand scheme of things, this is not a big deal. There are much bigger problems in the world. And you might be like, Liz, seriously, this is just some stupid TikTok skits. Why do you care so much? This is all for good fun. Well, I do find it problematic. I have 2 kids. And I look at the fandom of this 36-year-old woman who are largely children. And they are the ones who are primarily consuming and hyping up this content, and they are the ones who account for the majority of the new fan base. And it's not like the creator is not aware of it. Social media, especially comedy content, is when we often find solace and some escapism after a tough day. And look, there is no denying that Charlotte is doing much better than myself, and she's probably shoveling money in bags and going on a nice vacation somewhere as we speak.
Tell you what, this being cancelled malarkey is quite thrilling, isn't it? Pays quite well too. This is very true. What did Char do with the money from the last hate train? She went on a cruise.
However, it's time for me to find a new series to watch, and I would appreciate your comments and recommendations below, as well as anything you would like to say about this situation.
Just remember, nobody's keeping you here. Don't whinge to us, just jog on.
Bye!